Love, there you go. Thank you so much. We thank you so much, Fielder. Oh, get your stretch out. Okay. You gotta lay somewhere, my boy. Right there seems really nice. Right over here seems really good. Yeah. Yep, there you go. Right on that cold tile. Okay, what's up, everyone? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Good whenever you are deciding to take this class. If you're new, of course, welcome to Yoga with April. This is Fielder. He is basically the only reason people actually watch my videos. They get pretty upset when they don't see Fielder. And of course, my name is April. So I have a plethora of yoga videos, yoga classes that you can scroll through. And if you've been hanging out with me for a little bit, this is our newest class for the week. And I would just consider this one, shake it off. Sometimes you just got to shake it out. I would consider this class more of a moderate vinyasa class, but I hate putting levels on stuff sometimes. Like, I get it. I know why. I get it. But I just feel like once you say it's like moderate or hard or whatever you want to throw into it, people already get a preconceived notation that they can't do it or it's going to be a struggle for them or blah, blah, blah. So, yes, this class is more geared towards moderate yogis, but also I do provide you stepping stones to get from like point A to point B. So I'm pretty confident that you could still break this down and make it your own. So I hope with that in mind, you explore this class with an open mind. You explore this class with the confidence that I know you have to take a class like this. And maybe you surprise yourself along the way. And before we start, I wanted to quickly go over just two announcements, I think, and it's nothing like, well, one's pretty cool. First announcement, fit. Sanita's the top. I really like this top from them. And my shorts are my Uber water shorts. I'm an Uber ambassador. They're pretty rad too. And I was thinking before starting this class how often I wear sweat shorts for my yoga videos. Live in them, breathe in them, die in them. I love sweat shorts. So catch me in some sweat shorts. My other announcement. Rooted Renewal Wellness Retreats. So I don't know if the video I posted last week, our website dropped or launched yet because it's been a labor of love and a long time coming. But if I didn't, okay, I'll tell you now. And if I did, my bad, I'll make it quick. But yeah, we just launched Rooted Renewal Wellness Retreats. We have 4 retreats lined up for next year. We have Arizona, New Mexico, California, and we're going to Costa Rica in November. So I'm going to link all that down below. And we're starting our September mobility challenge. I'm going to get the number wrong. I think it's the 23rd, whatever the last Monday, the last full week of September, that's when the mobility challenge will be. I'll put it down there too. And that's free for everyone. We put it right through, or we host it rather, right through our Instagram. We give you prompts, we have videos. It's a really cool way to connect with people virtually and keep the connection going in real life too. So a lot of friends will do the challenges together that will also see each other, and that's just so rad. It warms my heart to see and to be a part of. So if you are interested in learning about mindful movements with mobility, it's going to be a beginner-based challenge. Join us below, submit the form that we'll have, and yeah. And that's all I got, my friends. So let's go ahead and get started in a child's pose. So finding your child's pose position, go ahead and sink your hips down heavy towards your heels. And continue to crawl your fingertips forward towards the top of your mat space. As you let your head rest in between the arms, palms will subtly press the ground beneath you, letting that chest get a little bit heavier towards the mat as you find length for your sides. As you explore a deeper awareness to your breath, try to notice where you're sending your breath. Oftentimes throughout like our day-to-day, we breathe so fast and so subconsciously. It's something that we just do without even thinking about it. You don't really know where it's going sometimes. So it's nice in these yoga classes, whether we're starting the class, cooling down from class, or just taking a brief pause, to really think of your breath. So sending it to your back body here, your hips, your lower back, your kidneys, And try to breathe right in between the shoulder blades, so filling up those little crevices in between the shoulder blades. All the way up to your shoulders, the nape of your neck. So you feel spaciousness, you feel light, you feel available. And of course, those exhales, they'll help you melt down in between the arms, letting the chest stay heavy, letting the hips feel grounded. You might even gently sway your head left to right, getting into that third eye center. And finally, from here, inviting some stillness into your space. Crawling the fingertips forward just a little bit more, maybe straightening out the arms as you invite more activation into this child's pose. Finding an exhale here, emptying out. Find a nice big breath in through your nose. Now gently part the lips, sigh, let it go. One more here with me, big breath in. And exhale, let it go. Now gently crawl your hands over towards the left edge of your mat as you anchor back down through your right hip. See if you can square your shoulders a little bit here too, so allowing the right shoulder to get heavy and fighting for that reach through your right fingertips. Be intentional with this breath as you inflate your right lung, sending it to the back of your ribs. Now we'll bring this right back towards center. This time I want you to pop up on your fingertips. Your forearms are going to lift off the mat. Your third eye, your head can stay rested. And start to dip your right shoulder down. You might move and groove a little bit. Gently dip the left shoulder down. And explore going from your left and your right side. Any pace, any speed. We'll make our way back to our child's pose position and then crawl our hands over towards the right side of our mat. That left sit bone will be your anchoring point as you pull it down just slightly. Maybe the palms stack on top of one another. Maybe you're firmly pressing both palms into your mat. Coming back to your breath here, big full inhale. Nice deep exhale. Now this time as you come on back towards center, let your palms kiss. And then our thumbs, they're going to chase the nape of our neck, so you're bending your elbows. Fingertips will chase the ceiling. Breathing into your triceps, allow them to find some space. Now gently relax the hands back towards the mat, finding this child's pose position. Give me one more breath in. And slow breath out. Let this next inhale wave through your spine, finding your tabletop pose. Stacking your hips and knees, shoulders are in line with your wrist. And we'll warm up the wrist here when you're ready. So start making those circles here with your shoulders. I swear if anyone has dogs, which I'm sure some of you do, like how does their hair get everywhere? It's tickling my little nose. And then, of course, my friends, from your wrist movement, if you want to do a few added variations with me, go ahead and come back towards that neutral tabletop pose. And then we'll bring our fingertips to face the edges of our mat. And we're going to also sway left and sway right here too. And just taking this bit by bit, piece by piece. Try to hone in on the small details the smaller movements create. If you want a little bit more from this, our fingertips will face our kneecap. So shine the eyes of your elbows towards the top of your mat. Find a breath for your forearms as you firmly press all 10 fingers into the mat. Moving through a few rounds of cat-cow here with me. So as you inhale, you're going to drop your belly and shift your gaze. And then as you exhale, push the mat away, scoop your tailbone up and under. 2 more with me here. Inhale, belly's going to drop. And then exhale, you push, you protract. 1 more here with me. Belly drops, gaze will shift. As you exhale, push the mat away. Now neutralize the spine, flip the fingertips back towards the top of your space, and any other natural intuitive movements you would like to find. You might stick to those traditional cat-cow movements. You might get into the sides a little bit, barrel rolling the belly. And all together, come back to your tabletop pose, and we're going to come to downward facing dog. But before we do, tuck the toesies. And we're going to do this together. We're going to wake up our core together here. So tuck the toes. Knees will hover maybe 2 to 3 inches off the mat. Elbows of the hands, they screw back into your mat as you push the ground away. Knees will stay bent. Shoulders will dome. And chin will slightly tuck towards your chest. Wake up the upper abdominals, lower abdominals here. Finding that space, building your strength for 3, for 2. And on 1, down dog, let it go. Find that reach, find that lift, and find that drive through the hands, through the heels. Finding a sense of fluidity through your spine, maybe rolling forward into a plank pose, and letting an exhale push you back to some rendition of your down dog. And I always like to remind you all, when you're finding these spinal waves, the secret is the breath. So let your breath be one constant motion. An inhale sweeps you forward nice and steady. And that exhale will push you right on back as you deeply bend the knees. And maybe finding 1 or 2 more here. Meeting in a plank pose, roll it forward. Set yourself up for success. So when I say that, I mean you find a plank pose that makes you feel strong. If you have, as my hair's in my mouth, if you have a different variation, such as dropping the knees, I am more than okay with that. Just make sure your hips are closer towards your wrists, so your hips are forward and your knees are back, because that will still require your core to work here, building your strength. Now, whichever plank pose you find yourself in, stay supported, stay strong for 5, for 3, 2, and down dog on 1. Let it go. Beautiful. Shake out the head a little bit. Lift up and out of your shoulders as the upper thighs spiral up and away, inviting that hinging sensation for the hips. See if you can find some lightness through your torso by deeply bending the knees. Last full breath in. And slow breath out. Now from here, inhale the heels up nice and high. And as you exhale, walk to the top of your mat. Now when you find the top of your mat, I like to always say we're here for a good time, not for a long time, when we're not going to be here for a long time. But with that being said, it's all you, kind of like a choose your own adventure forward fold. Arms can stay heavy, tops of your hands might graze the mat. If you're wanting a little bit more, you might catch opposite elbows, bringing some more sensation, some more heaviness to your torso. And it's definitely okay to be like, you know what, forward folds, they're not my favorite thing. So what I always suggest for my friends who might have lower back issues or it's just super tense in a forward fold, think of deeply bending your knees. So you're essentially creating a shelf here with your elbows, with your forearms. And you can find a more simple variation of a forward fold, but I do still suggest crown of the head. Let that get as heavy as you can allow it to get as it chases the ground beneath you. So always know there's a space for you in this practice. There's a variation for you and your practice. Now, if you have your opposite elbows, go ahead and release. Let your hands come to the ground. Prepare with a big breath in as we root to rise. So stand up nice and tall. Hips will push forward. Hands will go high. And exhale your hands right back through heart center. Breath in, we're going to reach up one more time. And breath out brings you right back down. Try to fold and bend the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Right foot stays towards the top of your space. As you exhale, step your left foot back. Stay off your left knee here for just a moment. Finding a runner's lunge twist, your left hand stays planted. Right hand goes up nice and high. Stack the shoulders. Recommit to that bend in your right knee as you feel your hips lower, and then drive through your left heel. Crown of the head chases the top of your mat space as you find that length for your spine. Now finding our low lunge pose, Anjaneyasana, drop your left knee. Inhale, sweep your arms up nice and high. See if you can drive the shoulders away from the ears as you gaze up toward your horizon, pulling your right hip back. Lightness through the chest, lightness through the sides. One more breath in. And breath out, modified pyramid pose. Hands will plant, fold over, straightening right leg. Allowing your fingertips to stay on the mat. Find a breath in, pull your chest through. Think upward facing dog here as you shine through your heart. And then exhale, step and fold, top of your mat. Switching our sides here, my friends. Right foot's going to go towards the back. Left foot stays planted. Right hand's down, left hand's high, runner's lunge twist. See if this left hip's doing a bunch of funky stuff, because mine is. So left hip pulls back and pulls down just slightly. And then you still find that reach through your top fingertips, allowing your gaze to follow if that feels okay. Let a breath in, help you find that space, help you find that length through your sides. And then maybe when you find that breath out, invite a little bit more depth into that twist. Low lunge pose, right knee is going to drop. Inhale, sweep your arms up high. And exhale, you settle. Find one more breath in, big gaze. Breath out brings you to that modified pyramid pose. Hands will plant. You fold over, straightening left leg. You okay there, Fields? Now from here, inhale, shine your heart through, broaden through your collarbones. Exhale, step back to down dog. A new space to explore here. Exploring the hands, exploring the toes, exploring your breath. Now we're going to play with side planks. So we're going to get into side plank one time, right and left side. And then we'll break down the transition that we'll work through with class here as well. And like I said, I'm going to show you a few options here. So from your downward facing dog, for the sake of you being able to see me, let's start with our right side. So inhale into a plank pose just slightly, and then exhale right side plank. So we come onto our right hand and our right foot. So I'm going to pay attention to my supported side plank friends here first. You guys are all still in side plank, so fight that fight. So if you are in that supported side plank, that means your right knee is going to be down. Your transition for our class today will be lifting your left foot or whichever leg is extended and flexing those toes back towards your shin. We're all going to fight this similar fight, same but different together, of compression. So compression meaning, I know you're still in side plank, we're almost done. So compression meaning left thigh or whichever thigh comes super close towards your chest, towards your collarbones, and you have to fight that fight. We bring that left foot to the top of our mat. Go ahead and do so, whichever side plank you're in, and come back to that low lunge for a moment. So very non-yoga for a second. We're going to go run right back through that so you can find that transition here again. And then we'll kind of link it with our class for a few rounds here too. So bring your right hand back to the ground. Supported side plank or side plank, whichever side plank you are working with on our right side. Now for those who are in a side plank without your right knee or that bottom knee on the ground, your transition, left foot's going to lift and then we step it behind us. Driving into the left heel, inhale your hips high, finding a variation of your wild thing. So from here, we got to get, again, back to the top of our mat. So left thigh comes as close as you can muster. I like to reach my left hand forward so you find that counterbalance. And then nice and steady, left foot plants. We've made it, right? So just keep that in mind as we move and we groove. You'll make that your own a little bit. And I've been saying in class all week, I taught something similar to this in person. I don't care about your breath for a second. I care about you nailing that transition. I care about you bringing intention to that transition. And if that means that you breathe a little bit different than how I breathe, that's okay. So let's go ahead and just kind of break it down on that left side here too. So step it back to down dog and just pedal out the heels nice and steady. And for the sake of symmetry, we're going to do that twice on our left side too. So roll into your plank pose and then cruise to your left side. So we're on that left side plank, left hand's planted. If you're in that supported side plank, left knee's on the ground here as well. So supported side plank or plank pose, find the transition that we're working with. And then match it. I personally match it with an exhale. I lift up that right foot. I'm closing it towards my chest, working the core, nice and slow. I step that right foot to the top of my mat. And a moment for you here to reset, maybe a moment for you to wipe your sweat off yourself here as well. And coming right back to it. So left hand plants, coming back to your side plank pose, stay here 3, stay here 2, work your transition on 1. That means if you're in your not supported side plank, your right foot steps behind. And then nice and easy, right knee comes into your chest. Step it to the top of your mat, low lunge pose, breath in. And then breath out, bring it back to down dog. Good. From our downward facing dog, inhale into a plank pose. And exhale, find your first vinyasa. Finding this upward facing dog, let's all linger for a moment. So go ahead and drop the thighs on down. And maybe shimmy the hips towards the left, towards the right. Right on back to that down dog. So that is, I like to break that portion down, and you stay in that down dog for a moment, unless you need to come out of it, of course. But I like to break, as I'm out of breath, I like to break that portion down in class because I see that as the biggest confusion point for people in class, that where I see like that brief pause and they're like, what the hell are we doing? So again, we're still going to break it down a little bit slow for that first round because we have a few things to add on to it. But then we'll at least give a round or two of some freedom for you to kind of move and groove with it a little at your own pace too. So from this downward facing dog, let's do 2 rounds of sun A just to wash that out. Bring some clarity to your breath, clarity to your body, and clarity to your mind here, yeah? Let's inhale the heels high. Exhale, walk. Find the top of your mat. You'll inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folds. Now big breath in, root to rise, stand up tall. Reach through your hands. As you exhale, find heart center, find your home base. Breath in, you reach tall. Breath out, you hinge and folds. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, walk it back, jump it back. You have that high to low plank. Right back to down dog. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. One more round here. Inhale the heels high. Exhale, walk, step, hop. You're going to inhale, halfway lift, nice flat back. Exhale, you fold. Now big breath, push your hips forward, ground down, reach high. Come through heart center as you exhale. Breath in, you're going to find that reach. Breath out, you're going to find that folds. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, walk it back, jump it back. Finding your Chaturanga Dandasana. Pulling it through upward dog, active through your feet. And then hiking it on back, downward facing dog. Shut down your eyes. Feel into your hands. Bring yourself back to this space. Now when you're ready, inhale that right foot up nice and high. Here we go. We're going to find our first twist. Your right knee chases that left elbow, your left tricep. Try to hold here for a moment and push and breathe. Now finding fallen triangle, 2 choices. If you want more today, keep floating this right foot. I know it's work. If you want less today, bring the right foot down. Totally up to you. You choose your adventure. You choose your challenge. I just ask that you commit to your choice. Now when you're ready, think side plank on your left side. Left hand plants. Come through that side plank. Maybe your right foot comes behind you. Think wild thing. Reaching and lifting through your right side. Not too much activation in your glutes, but enough to lift the hips up. Now here comes that big move, my friends. We're here together. Right knee inside the chest, inside the chest. And it gracefully steps to the top of your mat. Crouching warrior, you lift. Ooh, laugh at yourself if it's a doozy, because it can be a doozy sometimes. Now, my friends who are not about the balance life today, peace fingers stay on the mat, or you have your hands on those blocks, yeah? So again, reach through the chest, lengthen out your sides, pull your right hip back, bend your standing leg, invite some stability into this space, ground down through your toe beans. Find one more breath in, and one more breath out. High lunge crescent pose with control. Place your left foot down. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, warrior 2. Nice work, my friends. Now with this warrior 2, it might feel good to like move and groove a little bit. So think of straightening your right leg, rebending your right knee. You know what? Left and right, sometimes they can just go somewhere because who cares about them, you know? Arms come out to a T. Palms will face the ground. Lengthen out, reach high. Right thigh, invite that external rotation. So bringing that right inner thigh rather, away from your midline. Encouraging your right knee to open up towards the right side of your space. Now keep a bend in that right knee. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale to a triangle pose. Straighten your right leg. Gently place your right hand on that right shin. And if this stance feels too far away, it probably is, and that's okay. Now you know. Click your left foot in a little bit if you need that support. Now settling into this triangle pose for a moment, notice if you can stack the shoulders. Gaze can be up or down, active through the legs. Legs will stay just as they are. Inhale, reverse your triangle, reach up, extend, expand. And now like you're coming through a warrior 2, rebend your left knee. Right knee, cartwheel your hands down, hide a low plank. You know what, my friends? I'm just making sure we're all paying attention here, right? Breath in, breath out in this down dog. Now when you're ready, that left side, inhale, left foot high. Exhale, find your twist. Left knee traces your right elbow, your right tricep. And finding that fallen triangle pose, maybe floating that left leg. Hips are doing a lot of work here. You're fighting for that rotation here. I see you. Plant your right hand. Come through that side plank pose. Left foot steps behind you. Drive into that heel. Lift the hips high. Setting up, bringing that left knee inside your chest. We step it forward, lean forward, find your float, crouching warrior. Beautiful work. Be steady with your breath. Be steady with your lift. Notice your right leg, that's the one that's lifted. Point or flex your toes. Allowing yourself to find control here. Gently place your right foot down. Breath in, high lunge. Breath out, warrior 2. Maybe straightening the left leg, maybe bending back in. Allowing yourself to utilize your mat as you find your reach for your warrior 2. And bring that warrior power into this pose, right? Puff up the chest a little bit, navel in towards the spine. Neutrality through the pelvis. Locking into that left knee. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Now exhale, triangle pose. Shoulders will stack here once again. See if you can pull your left hip back a little bit here, letting the right hip pull back with it. You might feel your sides lengthen out a little there. Big breath in as you paint the sky, reverse your triangle. And then exhale, hands will cartwheel down, finding your high to low plank. Now remember with our lowers, my friends, elbows stay as close as they can to your sides. Inhale pulls you through. Exhale brings you back, down dog. From your downward facing dog, heels go high. Exhale, knees will plant. Untuck your toes, have a home on your shins. And since we kind of broke that down, our right side and our left side, the hair on my face will be the death of me for this class. My bad, my friends. But you know, it's real life here too. So once you find a home on your shins, grab your water, shut down your eyes. Do what you need to do here for these few moments. Reconnect with your practice. Find your energy. And like I said, we're going to do that a couple more times. Yes, breath to movement, but I don't want your breath to movement to be the sole focus. So you like kind of get tripped up in your transitions. Bring the mind to the transitions and the breath will follow with it here too. So let's just shake it out. Just shake it out. We're going to do it. We're going to breathe. We're going to go through it. Let it go. Down dog. Let's get to it. From your downward facing dog, right foot's going to lift. Exhale, find your twist toward your left. Kick your right foot through. Maybe it floats. Plant your left hand. Swivel the hips. Think side plank pose for a moment. And then right foot steps behind. You lift your hips. Bringing that power, bringing that lift. Right foot travels to the top of your mat. Inhale, crouching warrior. Left foot plants when you're ready. Breath in, reach tall. Breath out, warrior two. Inhale, reverse that warrior. Exhale, triangle pose, nice and long with your breaths. Inhale, reverse your triangle. And then exhale, hands will cartwheel down. High to low plank or right back to your down dog. No pause, moving to that left side. Inhale, left foot high. Exhale, find your twist. Kick it through, fallen triangle. Right hand's gonna plant, think side plank pose for a millisecond. Left foot steps behind, breath in. And then bring it close towards the thigh, towards the tummy. Left foot steps forward, inhale, rise, crouching warrior. Planting your right foot down, sweeping your hands high, high lunge. To your warrior two, let it go. Inhale, reverse that warrior. Exhale, triangle pose, float it forward, find your lean. One more time, reach behind you, reverse that triangle. Right on down to your mat. Meeting back in that down dog. Let's keep that momentum going. Let's keep the party going. Let's do one more round here, yeah? Breath in. Breath out. Let's do this, my friends. Right foot goes. Exhale, twist, kick and extend. Plant your left hand. Find that lift through your hips. Right foot's behind you. Modified wild thing. Bring that right foot to the top of your mat. Find that float here one more time. Nice and steady as you lift. Nice and controlled as you land. Open up, find your warrior two. Now reverse that warrior. Right to your triangle pose, working through the hammies. Inhale, reverse that triangle. Boom, cartwheel those hands down, high to low plank. Or back to down dog. I just skipped my plank pose, so feel free to skip yours, you know. Left foot lifts when you're ready. Exhale, find your twist, find your kick. Plant your right hand, come through that side plank pose, find your control. Gently travel to the top of your mat with that left foot. Inhale, crouching warrior. Plant your right foot down, high lunge. Open up, warrior two. Inhale, reverse that warrior. Triangle pose as you exhale. Very good, my friends. Inhale, reverse your triangle. Now exhale, cartwheel the hands down, high to low plank. This is a spicy one. You guys got this. Come back to down dog, even just for a second. Down dog, down dog. And then come to the knees if you need to. Find child's pose. Take this in. We're not here to think of what we could have done better, what we didn't do that we should have done. We're here to respect what we showed up with, respect what we're able to do. And not only that, but to love on it, to cherish it, to hold it close. Do not make your mat space a place to criticize yourself. Make it a space to honor yourself and celebrate yourself here, okay? Now I'm going to give you a few more steady breaths. And I figured, why the heck would we not just get into a pincha pose, you know? So, if you want to reset with me, recalibrate in a pincha pose, in a forearm balance, let's do it. And if you want to just chill, my homie. Find a child's pose. Watch me maybe fall out of a pincha pose. You never know. But if you want to, let's work it. So with the pincha pose, I get into it with my palms touching and with my outer wrist touching the mat here as well. So my thumbs are lifted up towards the ceiling. I tuck my toes, lift the knees, hike the hips up high. The name of the game is stacking, my friend. Stacking the hips in line with the shoulders, shoulders in line with the elbows. Everything finding its space here to help you find a nice easy lift. And then when you're ready, maybe you float, lifting both feet off the mat. I always say if you're a beginner in like a forearm balance, it's always pretty smart to keep one of these thighs close towards your tummy. So again, working that compression, which should feel pretty familiar from our class. And if you're newer to forearm balances, it's nice to keep everything close towards the hips, close towards the belly, especially if you are a lady, because that's where our center of gravity is. Now, if you're still upside down, go ahead and hang out there for a steady 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it on down. Nice work. So we'll stay on our shins here for just a moment longer, and then we'll kick it to our booties. But we've done a lot with the shoulders, especially with that forearm balance, so I just want you to groove around a little bit. I always like to think, is this violent to think of? I always like to think of like a, I always like to think, is this like a violent thought? But like, I'm bowing people behind me, you know? Keep bowing people behind you, get into the shoulder blades. And then a little shoulder stretch. Extend your right hand towards the top of your space. Hook your left elbow. Maybe that left palm hugs into your right shoulder. And I like to gaze over towards my right shoulder here too. You'll bring this into a tricep stretch, so letting that right hand find your back in some way, shape, or form. And your left hand will catch your right elbow to support, and then gently lean over towards the left. And we'll switch those sides out. You might kind of roll the shoulders here for a moment. Left hand comes front, right elbow hooks, and gently guide that left hand towards the right. I'll say this very quickly because I want to try to keep us on decent timing on both sides. This shoulder stretch that we're in right now, I teach assisted living yoga, so I teach chair yoga, quite literally one of like my favorite days, quite honestly. But this like trips people up so often in that class that now I'm always like overthinking how I cue it when, you know, it's just something that gets harder as we age, right? Find your tricep stretch. You best believe me, I'm about to be in some chair yoga at 80, 90 years old. I'll be teaching it. Okay, one more time to move and groove. Maybe make big circles here with the arms. And then interlace the hands behind you. Doesn't matter which thumb's on top. Drive your knuckles down. Breathe into your chest for 3, for 2, and on 1, let it go. We're going to come to our booty, right to a wide-legged forward fold. So take up the length of your mat, take up whichever space you would like to, and gently allow yourself to pulse up and pulse down a little bit here. Take a moment to point the toes, flex the toes. And then eventually maybe you drop down to the forearms, maybe you just gently crawl the hands forward a little bit. Wherever you find yourself in these few moments of stillness, reconnect with your breath. Where can you send it? What needs some space? Gently bringing yourself right back on up. Legs will come back to the top of your mat, and we make it down to our backs. And once you're here, gently plant your feet on the mat, kick them towards the edges, and then let your knees knock middle. Hands will come on top of your belly, big full inhale. Nice slow exhale. Now we'll keep our left foot planted. Let your right ankle catch your left knee. And of course, if you're wanting more from this pigeon pose, you'll pick up that left knee and interlace your hands. If you want more of a focus on your lower back here, you might think of gluing down your tailbone, rolling the shoulders away from your ears. If you're itching to get into your hips a little bit more, you might push your right elbow inside your right knee, getting some more hip action that way. And then eventually eyes will shut. Relax the jaw. I'm wearing my favorite clip, like to do yoga in, because when I lay on my back, if it's clipped correctly in my hair, it's like a mini little pillow. I love it. We'll bring this into a twist, so keep your legs just as they are and gently guide your right foot towards the left, and then allow yourself to gaze over towards your right arm. Bring it back towards center. Unwind with little legs up the wall for a moment. Y'all be honest with me, because sometimes I feel like I can mumble like the best of them sometimes, especially when I'm like cooling down in a class too. So if you take my classes and you're like, why is this mother effer always mumbling? Like, speak up. Just tell me, my friends. Switching your sides, find your pigeon pose with your left ankle on your right knee. And a big, simple rule of thumb with your pigeon pose. If you are like looking like this, like look at me on the screen, like really struggling to do this, don't. Let go. Relax your head, relax your torso. Maybe invite a pillow for more support. But if this bind that we're finding here is compromising the rest and the relaxation that your torso deserves, I want you to keep your foot planted and just push your left hand into your left knee. Gently setting up for your twist, guiding your left foot towards your right, and you'll gaze over towards your left arm. I'm just not finding this twist because the mic says no thank you. But you find your twist, you find your breath into your left side here. Now you'll bring this back towards center. And we'll set up for little happy baby actions. Let your hands grab the outer edge blades of your feet. You might straighten one leg as you deeply bend the other knee. You'll release when this feels best for you. into a legs up the wall. If you want like I'll show you up here too. And I'm kind of realizing I don't know if I do it that often in classes when I'm recording, but I love a good little shoulder stance, a good little plow pose. So you'll hike up. I can't do it with this clip in, but you'll hike up your hips, so you're kind of finding like more of an elevated legs up the wall. And then your feet do not have to touch the ground behind you, but just let your legs, your feet get nice and heavy as they travel behind your head. I find a pretty nice release for the back of my neck, into my shoulders a little bit in that pose too. But I'm just giving you a few choices here to settle into your Savasana. So happy baby, shoulder stance, plow pose, wherever you took that, go ahead and bring it into your final resting pose, our Savasana pose. And you'll lie down nice and flat. If you want to invite any props into your Savasana, please bring them in. And I'll hang out here with you for a few too. So inviting you into this space, connecting you to this space with your breath. So shimmy the shoulders a little bit, wiggle out the feet, the hands, let yourself find some stillness. When you're ready, let's find one more breath here together. Big full breath in and out. Find your Savasana here. Now there is a theme of sorts I've been coming back to with the classes I taught this week in person. And I kind of talked about it on Instagram a little bit too, just about the simple act of showing up. I feel like I often talk about that when the classes, which you can now probably resonate or relate to a little bit more after taking this class, but with the classes that do require some more out of you, I'm not going to say that class didn't, because that class did, but you did it. You don't have to judge how well you thought you think you did or how well you don't think you did. You did it. So the simple act of you showing up is such a domino effect on your life, on those who are around you, on those you come into contact with. You create an energy with the confidence you build by saying yes and showing up and just doing the damn thing. And that's something I will forever be grateful for, because you give me that same platform to show up for you as a teacher, to show up for you as a guide, to show up for you as a friend in this yoga world. And you guys hold me to my stuff too. You guys hold me to a high standards as well every time you decide to come back and explore these classes with me and build our community together. So I don't know, it's a super cool thing to think of sometimes, and I'm proud of you for showing up. I hope you're proud of yourself for showing up. And yeah, with that being said, I think that's a great way to end our time together. So I'll see you next week. Peace.